Welcome to another episode of the AFL podcast. This is TBMB with my rather incapacitated co-host Penny. Welcome, mate.
How you going, buddy?
A bit better than you, mate. You sound pretty shit.
Yeah, big cook today. Bucks party on the weekend. May have partied a little bit too much, and now the old body's a bit run down. So, bit of a flu happening. So, I'm struggling a bit, but we'll get through this.
Of course, this brings me endless joy. All right, we'll soldier on and we'll try to get it done before the ambulance rocks up and takes you away. All right.
Appreciate it.
So this is just going to be a bit of a review for round one. Obviously, the season kicked off this week, so we'll go through the matches and just review the scores and the players that had an impact. Alright, let's do it. So, first match was Carlton and GWS. Another pretty easy win for Carlton, let's be honest. Was pretty one-sided. Nobody really expected Shabby to get near it, if he would even turn up, really. But yeah, I think Conker would be pretty happy getting off to a reasonable start.
Yeah, he got off to a pretty handy start. Some alright scores across the board for him from the players that you may not expect to score so highly. Reece Palmer's 126. It's a pretty good score for a player like him, and Teddy Richards, the turnover king against Greater Western Sydney, turned up as well. So yeah, be pretty happy with some of his midstream players and how they played. But a few of his players a little bit disappointing. Who expect a little bit more from in the future. Players like Hanbury only scoring in the 30s, Eddie Betts in the 50s, Nathan Jones in the 60s. So there's still a fair bit of improvement for Carlton to come. But yeah, good first hit up. As for Shabby in Greater Western Sydney, the same, a few surprising packets there. Louis Jetta maybe starting to show some of his potential. He turned up, and Sam Reid is his captain, 92. Not a bad score for a young side for Shabby.
Yeah, I think the more concerning thing for Conker is that a lot of his scores this week did come from guys you normally wouldn't expect it from. I mean, Teddy Richards you would think that he'd fall back to his normal 70 odd average, but even guys like Shaney Stiller, 81. Stiller would be lucky to get 81 points total for the rest of the season. He's not much chop, but I think the most worrying thing for him would be guys like Russell and Morris. Would have expected big things from Morris. I know he was in quite a few Supercoach teams. Probably would have been captained in RBs, judging on this week's results, but didn't go too well. 30 and 24 for Russell and Morris. I told him in the pre-season that Russell was shithouse, and apparently he's stuck with him, and it's not really worked. But if a couple of those guys can just lift the game, even Lynch, I think he was sub with Adelaide. I think he got the green vest. So if those players can pick up, then there'll be big scores in Carlton's future. He's still got 80, even with, I think it was 5 or 6 players in the 40s or below. So you can take it positively or negatively. It'll be an interesting season for him. So
yeah, pretty solid score, really, for Carlton with some of those players down. A bit of a question that's happened over the pre-season is, will Todd Goldstein keep up his average with McIntosh? So far on the weekend, he's not very good, 74 points, and McIntosh was around the same. So will they steal off each other, or is this just a 1 week thing and he'll be back to his best next week?
Yes, we'll probably a bit early to judge that, but will be very interesting to see over the course of the season. But we'll move on to Adelaide and Western Bulldogs. A very tough first up ask for Gav. I'm sure he didn't really expect to win, but was an alright performance nonetheless. Got 78 with I think it's 2 down. Once again, lacking some forwards, like most of us were. He wouldn't be too downhearted by that loss. He had some good results. Murphy showing once again what an absolute star he is, and some other good and pleasing results. Dempsey getting 98, repaying some of the faith that Gav showed him. That's got to be a bonus. McFarlane scoring above himself, 88. I think definitely some positives there. and some negatives as well. I mean, very unlucky Hocking copping a ball to the face in the first.
I want to touch on that quickly. And I've had enough of Heath Hocking, if I'm honest. Last year he got a little slap to the face. He got subbed off with. He claims he was unconscious. Nothing fucking happened to him. And then he got a little softball to the face and he went down. This is the AFL, not the Premier League. Heath Hocking's supposed to be a tough man in the AFL. You're a fucking mate. Pull your head in. If you get hit in the head, get the fuck back up. So
yeah, fucking hate people who keep getting concussions. They're just massive pussies, eh? But
if you went down with that, you deserve to die, cunt.
Hopefully Hocking doesn't end up with post-concussion syndrome or anything like that after that vicious spray. But
he has to get hit properly to actually get something like that.
All right, we'll move on before he gets sued for.
Talk about the Western Bulldogs for a bit. Some massive scores at the Doggies this week. Jed Adcock 140, Mitchell 139, Thompson 147, Simon Black on the bench, the old duck, proving he can still do it with 152. Pretty good score for the Doggies. 2 players down as well. I think RLL will be very happy with that for the first round hit up. And Gav will be pretty content with his score. Obviously got Murphy as captain, so that's always going to help him.
Yeah, I do actually owe the big-headed flog an apology. Wasn't too sure why he went for Simon Black, but he pretty much murdered it against a pretty shit-ass Melbourne opposition, but still.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking disgraceful, really, but we won't get onto that before any other AFL players come to sue us. But he had a great game, Simon Black. He showed that he still got it, and might be one of the pickups of the season for RLL. So he'll be pretty happy with that, I reckon.
Yeah, he should be pretty happy. He pretty much costs peanuts at the moment, except SQ did try to sell him to me for a first, but we won't touch on that. Moving on to the next
doesn't
game,
like you.
Geelong took on Richmond. Pretty much we all knew how this was going to go. Geelong a much stronger side. Richmond with no real captaincy option, but he'd be pretty happy. Richmond, 4 players over 100. But yeah, just outclassed by Terry. With his young star-studded lineup, Gary Ablett proving why he's the best player in the competition in the midfield, and Lance Franklin proving why he's the best K position with both very good scores.
Yep, I agree with you. I think there's a lot of negatives in this week for Spud, though. I mean, I don't want to take too much of a shot at him, but Greg Broughton, is that how you pronounce his name? Broughton or Broughton? Whatever. Broughton. So yeah, Greg Broughton got 57, burnt a lot of Supercoach sides, and I think he's going to burn Spud this year. He had, I know I was personally interested in him during the preseason, but he really didn't look much chop fantasy wise this week, and I think he only got 60 odd. Yeah, he got 57, so he definitely want to see some improvement from him. Travis Boak as well. Port Adelaide get a very rare win, and Boak can only manage 83. He'll definitely want him to improve there because he's put pretty heavy price tag on him and put a lot of faith in him in the preseason.
Yeah, and one thing I want to touch on quickly. Everyone was a bit iffy on what's happening with Barlow this year. Comes in for a quarter and a half, scores 72 points. Get around him.
Yep, very decent effort. Apologies, that's my phone ringing. But yeah, definitely important game for Barlow. Showed that he's still an absolute fantasy freak. I would definitely like to have got him. I think he drafted him with like one of the last picks in the draft when he picked him up a couple of years ago. So very impressive from Barlow and from Spud. I think once he gets a bit of fitness and once the leg improves, he'll definitely be a formidable opponent.
Yeah, definitely. Fuck off.
It's ridiculous.
Sorry,
too fucking popular.
To make sure he's home safe.
Yeah, cockhead.
And one last quick one for Terry Ball. Brett Stanton, 180 points. that'll never fucking happen again. But he
I
absolutely tore it apart on the weekend.
I wanna bring this up. I mean, Stanton really cops it hard from like a lot of people, even his own supporters. I do not understand the hate for Brent Stanton. I mean, I know he's oh for fuck's sake, I know he's very very vulnerable to the odd fuck up, but
Can't kick for shit, basically.
well, look, I mean, there are worse players out there, and he cops it more than most, if we're honest. I mean, he is a good player. He gets a lot of the ball, and he sets up his opponent, and he just fucking cops it. I remember last year, I can't remember who he was playing against, but he fucking got knocked out, and then starts to get raped and booed by his own supporters. It's bullshit. He's a very good player. Unnecessary hate.
He does cop it a bit, but I do believe when the going gets tough, he goes missing and starts to miss targets. But we'll move along to the next game, which is Hawks and Essendon. I can tell you what, very low scoring game. I'm sure they won't be too worried about it, but well below average of what Buff will score throughout the season. Only 85 points.
Yeah, he would definitely want to improve. 85 when he's going for the flag is not a good result at all. I'm not really too sure what happened. He had a couple of we'll say administrative fuck ups in naming players that he doesn't even have and some that aren't even playing. But I think one of the more disappointing things was that two of his highest scorers were both named as emergencies. That wouldn't be too much fun. But yeah, well, I've still got a bit of faith in Buff. I'm sure that he'll come good and that he'll pump out some big scores, but he definitely wouldn't be too pleased with how he went this week. And JM would probably be even more angry that he missed an opportunity to knock off one of the premiership contenders.
Yeah, he definitely will. He's four players that he named didn't play, so which is a bit stupid. Butler did not play, and he had Jared Harbrow on the bench, emergency, who scored 99. If he comes in, Essendon wins.
Tell you what, there's some...
Basically, sort your team out, get it right, because that just cost Essendon the game, and Hawks are very lucky to walk away with the win.
Tell you what, it must be a record for the highest scoring emergencies in this game.
Yeah, no shit. The emergencies, actually the 99 would have, it's not a bad score compared to the rest of the team.
Yeah, very decent. Alright, I mean, look, if he'd have named... I think it's James McDonald he has, isn't it? James. Yeah, if he named James McDonald instead of Ryan Griffin, who wasn't even named in the side, he would have got 90 odd, so unlucky.
And then Jack called forward line instead of Luke Power, there's another 100.
Yep. But well. We move on. We try not to remember our darker moments. So we'll move on to Port Adelaide and Brisbane, the game that nobody would have rocked up to.
But amazingly, Port Adelaide did rock up to it. So huge kudos to Stipe. It doesn't happen often. Didn't happen in the pre-season, but Port showed up.
Yep, not very often when Stipe is driving the bus that the Port Adelaide team actually makes it to the ground. But on this occasion, they did, and they even managed to walk away with 4 points. So credit to them. The one thing I want to say though is I know we've been pretty much slandering pretty much any opposition player we can, but Andreas Everett is an absolute fucking spud. He is not a footballer's asshole, that bloke. He is horrible. An absolute joke of a human being, and why he's even getting a game anymore is beyond me.
Yeah, baffling. He looked absolutely terrible against Greater Western Sydney, and the 65 score that he got is not a true reflection of how he plays.
If I'm honest, I would trade him for Nick Pincott and an unfit Luke McAllister. That is how little I think of Andreas Everett. Not even Stipe went fit. Not even Stipe went fit. There's not really much to talk about in this game. Couple of low points for Stoney would have been Smets getting 46. Had a lot of faith in him, and there was a lot of hype going into him in the preseason. So I'm sure he would have liked to have seen a high score from Billy. But there was some definite positives. Stevie Motlop, 87. I tried to inquire over him this morning and was promptly told to fuck right off. So hopefully Stoney's faith continues to be rewarded and he pumps out some consistent scores.
Yeah, obviously he's got Selwood as captain and Gibbs as well, so they're going to pump out hundreds every week. So that's some positive for for Brisbane. As for Port, Kurt Tippett, a huge 150 points. Don't think many people saw that coming, even though they were playing the Gold Coast. If Tippett can start playing like this, and his other forward Taylor Walker 100, they can dominate a few games. Stoss scores are definitely going to get higher.
Yeah, that's for sure. They will definitely. He does like to build around that spine. So if those two can keep up those scores, Stife will be very happy indeed.
Yeah. No, we'll move across to Sydney versus Melbourne. That page thread, which I have no idea why it's that long, but that normally happens when Shammy starts posting. As for the score, I can't find it. I have no fucking idea how anyone went.
Nah, it's in the match thread. Sydney won 99 to Melbourne's 56. But
what can you tell me about the game, mate?
Fuck all, because I'll be fucked if I'm looking through that whole thread for his players' scores. So
I've got it. It's on page 7. Sydney, some good scores. The man Tom Rockcliffe with no E at the end. Beautiful 139 points times 2, so he'd be very happy with that. Boydie with his normal time. Kieran Jack scoring 133, which is a bit out of the ordinary for him. So that was good. And just a few tons around. Not a bad score for him. Not a great score, considering he wants a shot at the flag. And Melbourne, a lot of tons there. Yeah, a lot of really positive signs. Got Jacobs, Cruiser, Sloan, Magna, Ballantyne, Fife, Callum Ward, Rance, all over the 100. So should be pretty pleased with that with his young side.
He would be very pleased, but I think he'd be absolutely filthy at Yagmore 6. Yagmore looked like a deer in headlights and was a couple of steps behind the pace, so he definitely want to be improving, or he will find himself in the VFL if he doesn't this week. But
he'll definitely be in the VFL this week, mark my words.
Yeah, but that's definite negative. But there's a lot of positives as well for Shammy. Got a decent score even with Ledger being a late withdrawal. I'm not actually sure if anyone came in for him, but nonetheless, it was a good score. And once he can get a bit more consistency, he's got a good spread across the board. So if he can get everybody going every week, then he'll be very happy. And just one thing, it's Adam Selwood, not with an E. It's Adam.
Quality. Another thing, he had a Dangerfield captain. A bit of a bizarre option for me, especially with Fife, who averages about 30 more than him.
But
and he's decided to go straight for Dangerfield. I know he's playing Gold Coast and all that, but
Fife was playing against Geelong and Dangerfield was playing against Gold Coast. I can probably see where he's coming from, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but Dangerfield averaged 80 last year, Fife about 108 or something. So,
but nonetheless, I mean, you can't deny that you would have expected Dangerfield to have risen a lot, and he was playing against Gold Coast. If he can't turn up against Gold Coast, then maybe some of his preseason hype was misplaced.
And that brings me along to Shane Mumford. You fuckwit. You're supposed to score well, so I get a good start to Supercoach, and you wrecked me.
What's Mumford got to do with anything, you spastic?
You just talked about players playing shit teams. He played Greater Western Sydney, and he looked like a slob.
Okay. Alright, we'll move on. Alright, what is it now? Gold Coast and Fremantle.
You boys.
Yep.
Had the bye this week.
Had the bye, yep, definitely. Especially when Lummers doesn't see fit to name some players that are actually named. But it was a good start. First up, I got 67 odd with 5 players out, so I'm happy to build on that. You right, mate? Not gonna die on me too soon.
Slowly dying. The Ambos are on the way, so.
Yeah, but I had a lot of positives. A lot of boys that I showed some faith in. Dalhouse, Douglas, all came through for me. Hibbert as well. And of course, Chris Yarran, the superstar, the champion, the future Brownlow medalist with 111. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out. I mean, definitely some negatives. For one, falling asleep on Friday afternoon and not naming a proper side was a bit of a fuck up. But yeah, soon as a couple of boys come back in, we'll definitely have a good season going, and hopefully some of the shit that was being said about Gold Coast will leave a bit of egg on their faces.
Yeah, no, you should be reasonably happy with on the weekend. A few players getting tons and stuff like that. Even Sean Dempster with 97 on the bench is huge.
Fucking star.
You'd be slightly pissed off with Richmond. Why they took Shane Tuck off?
Oh, fucking
baffles me.
Rubbish. They leave Allison Morris on. Fucking woeful.
He's their leading ball winner when they take him off.
I know.
What a joke.
Fucking rubbish. Would have been well on his way to 90 odd as well.
I'll talk about Fremantle for a second. Tell you what, Lamas, you've done well with your captain, mate. He's picked Liver out. Liver's turned up for him, and without that fucking ton, the 44's about 34. So
yeah.
He'd be pretty happy with young Liver there. Just not enough players on the park, too many low scores. It's going to be like this all season.
Yeah, definitely not a season to look forward to for Lummers, but he definitely won't care much. He'll be looking forward to the season. And we are going to have an interview with Lummers either tonight or sometime in the future. He has agreed. He has shown more balls than Terry, and he has agreed to come on and have a chat. We will meet the elusive Lummers. Cannot wait.
Which we are very pumped. We've been waiting for a long time for this, and very excited that we should have him.
Exactly.
I'll move across to St Kilda Collingwood.
Yep.
RB versus Cleach.
Very, very impressive outing from RB's boys. 85, definitely a solid result. I'm not sure if anyone came in for Sipos. Oh, Grant is there, so he should have come in. But he'll be spewing that he didn't name Bug, and he named fucking Ben Jacobs. He got 29. But other than that, I don't think he can have too many complaints. 85 in a round one outing is a very good score. Probably make a lot of people sit up and take notice. If he can consistently pump out scores like that, then he will be a threat to a lot of teams.
Yeah, if anything, the 85 score is a bit of a shame that he did against sides like St Kilda. He really could have pushed some of the top sides with scores like that. Not saying that it's not going to happen again, but more than likely he's not going to be scoring this high every week. Yeah. So,
well, had he played,
a shame he wasted it on such a rubbish side. But when you have Scott Pendlebury as captain, he's going to pump out these huge scores, and it's going to boost your score a lot.
Yeah, well, when you get he would, if you get scores like this, you can definitely beat a lot of teams. I mean, this week he would have beaten Booth had they have played, but definitely even without Pendlebury, there's a lot of positives. I mean, Brad Ebert, the turnover spud, got 111 somehow, and Rioli 116, and Hamish Hartlett showing why he was such a high draft pick, and he slots out 134. So again, he'd be very happy with that.
Yeah, Hartlett looked really good on the weekend. Another boy that looked pretty good, the Bairnsdale superstar Clay Smith, 4 goals in about 2.5 quarters, 102 points. When he came off, he was on 80 points. The good old Supercoach gave him 102. He looked very impressive in his debut, and a little bit of cramp, which caught up to him in his first game. So that's the reason he was subbed off, if people weren't too sure.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's better than Tom Ledger getting late withdrawn from general soreness without having even played a game. But there's one point I want to make with when we had the ill-fated AFL manager game going. I had a kid called Matt DeBoer or DeBoer, however you pronounce his name. I noticed he wouldn't be that important to my team, but he'd always pump out decent scores, and this week he's pumped out a 97 against Geelong. This kid has little to no value and pumps out awesome scores, so RB would be very happy that he's got him there, because I'm not too sure how many people would actually be declaring interest in him, but definitely does the job each week.
Yeah, no, he played very well on the weekend. Well, we'll move to the last game of the week, which was myself versus Wilso. I'll let you talk about it to start with, because I'm really losing my voice.
Yep, no worries. So we'll start off with your mob. 72 would be bit of a disappointment for you, I'd imagine, especially with
Definitely.
yeah, especially with Farron Ray scoring 1. That's a bit of a disgrace, really. But yeah, I reckon if Tiprat was still around, then he came within 3 points of you, the abuse would have been endless. So I think you're a bit lucky that he chucked a tantrum and left. But some positives there for you. Dyson Heppel, he had a decent game, even with his disgusting haircut. Kane Corns got 97. You've been pumping him up all pre-season, so you'd be very happy with him. For Solo, 74, playing in the midfield, very decent effort against Hawthorn, who just ran over your mob. And Jared Redden, the bloke I traded, who was the worst player on my list, or so I perceived at the time, and he's gone and scored 71. So very happy with him, I'd imagine.
Yeah, well, with Redden, he got subbed out at 3 quarter time as well, so that could have easily been a 90-odd score. But it just proves that if you're the number one ruckman at the club, which he is at the moment, due to injuries, you got to score well. It's plain and simple. Pretty disappointed with the side this week. I didn't really have time to fix up a few players before I went away for the weekend. Just assumed I was going to win. But players like Brad Green, 50, Mumfries, 65, Robbie Gray didn't play, Jack Redden only in the 80s instead of 100. Sam Gilbert, 50. A lot of improvement. I'm not too worried. I would have been a bit pissed off if I'd have lost the game, but a win's a win. I've only got Port this week again, so I'm pretty happy with that. And just make sure I get my side right for round 4 when I'll take on JM, and that's the one I want to win.
Yep, I know the feeling. So you're pretty fortunate that you started off with a pretty rubbish team. No offense to Wilso, it's Tiprat's fault. But definitely some positives in there for Tiprat. Jeremy Laidler came back from pretty horrible looking knee injury and fucking slotted out a 92. Very impressive effort. Zach Clark in the first quarter looked awesome against Geelong when he was, I think he kicked the first couple of goals, and definitely some signs there that he will be a player of the future. So no complaints from Wilson. I doubt that he really expected to win the game, so to get this close to you would definitely be a good result for him.
Yeah, and I'll touch on Liam Jones for a second. I had him last year. He only averaged about 50, 55. This bloke has got some talent. He has got some seriously good hands. 94 score of him is pretty good. But he's not going to do this every week, but he's really starting to show some signs he could be a good player in the future. And Trent Cotchin, mate, he was awesome against
my mob.
Carlton.
Yep.
I think he was probably the best player on the ground. Just he's working it around the packs, and he's just a magnet. I think he's starting to prove that he will be a super elite player, which everyone was expecting when he first got drafted.
Yep, definitely good signs there for Wilso and something to build on for the future. So that's the wrap up of round 1. So we're all very happy to get the season underway. It was a good round of games in the AFL and some unexpected results in AFFL. So I'm sure everyone's pretty excited to finally be underway and look forward to a good season ahead.
Yeah, bloody oath. Good to get a win under the belt, and for the teams that didn't, I'm sure they'll be looking to get one straight away. Hopefully tonight we'll have the interview with Lamas, but I think I need to get a drink. My throat's a bit sore now, so I think we're ready to sign off. Yeah,
I reckon we'll wrap it up here too. So definitely everyone jump on and have a listen to the Lumbers interview if or when it goes ahead. I'm sure everybody's pretty interested to see that one unfold. So we'll see you in a bit. Thanks for listening.